On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires, drivers, start your Mazda engines.
Engines fire down here on pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. The first rung of the Mazda Road to Indy. These drivers anywhere from 14 to about 22 years of age. They're trying to get to Pro Mazda, but they got to go through USF 2000 first. Caleb Frederick looking for his first race win. Kyle Kirkwood, the newly crowned champion, trying to keep this streak alive. Back to the booth and John Phippen.
Thanks so much, Rob Howden, as we're getting ready for race number 2 of for these drivers. This is the only series, the first rung on the Mazda Road to Indy ladder, that's going to have 3 races this weekend, as they'll have a race each day. An exciting race last night at the end of the day where Kyle Kirkwood clinched the championship with several races left to go in the season. So congratulations to Kyle, taking his 7th consecutive win to clinch the championship with time to spare. He's going to start in 2nd position for this race as Kalen Frederick, the man who is 2nd in the points, or was 2nd in the points until yesterday's race where he got taken out in the first turn, trying to redeem himself and perhaps take his first win of the season as Kalen Frederick starting on the pole. Rasmus Lind in that 3rd spot. Lucas Cole, who finished 2nd yesterday in that black number 22 car. Igor Fraga, Corey Enders, Michael DiOrlando, James Raven, Dakota Dickerson, and Calvin Ming, your top 10 as they are making their way around behind the pace car. We should get the start here in front of us at the start-finish line. I'm John Phippen. For those of you listening on the World Wide Web, Rob Howden will be joining me in the commentary booth here momentarily as we look over the finish line here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. As the cars leave our view, they head under the Turn 1 bridge and into the view of Rusty Bell on the backside. Hey, Rusty.
Good day. Looking forward to it. A great race we just had, and looking forward to what I'm sure is going to be another fantastic event here. Cars in front of me, you can hear them. I picked the cars up around Turn 1. One of the fastest corners on the track, a left-hander. Then they go up a straightaway into the keyhole turn, 180-degree off-camber corner where they make their way onto the longest straightaway, 3,000 feet. And I'm about 2/3 of the way down that straightaway, and we pick them up and lead them down into the best passing area at the top end of the straightaway and into the S's.
Down there, they come into the view of Brian Culbertson at the top of Turn 5.
Hi, John, and hi, everybody else here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We're in the 3 turns with 2 names. It's called the S's or Madness. It's a right-hand turn after the greatest area to pass on the track. A left hand on another right-hand turn. We go underneath the Honda Bridge, out of my view, and into Thunder Valley.
Thunder Valley is looked over by our man at Turn 11. That is, or Turn 9, excuse me, used to be Turn 11. That's Tom Michaels. Hey, Tom.
Hey, John, we got a couple of consecutive right-handers. They're off camber. Turns 8 and 9. They go up over a little bit of a rise and then down into Thunder Valley. Right now, the field is going through turn number 11. The front of the field is about through the carousel, and we're about ready to start another race here.
The pace car's pulled off. Here's Rob Howden to call the start of the race. Kalen Frederick and Kyle Kirkwood bringing him to the flag.
Kalen Frederick for Pabst Racing. Kyle Kirkwood, your newly crowned champion. And Kalen punches off, and we are racing. Green, green, green. Pabst Racing drivers side by side going into turn number 1 as well. Frederick's going to get the lead. Kirkwood goes into 2nd. The rest of the field streaming through cleanly right now. Back to Rusty.
Yeah, big wiggle out of the 2nd place car coming around turn 1, and they're still not sorted out here. A little bit of brake smoke and a car into the gravel trap. That may have been your leader that did that. I'm not sure of the car number. They're both white there at the front.
Yeah, that's Rusty. That's indeed Rusty. That's your leader. Just to pick you up, that is the leader, Kalen Frederick, off in turn 1.
Yeah, off and looked like he may have made it back on. Yeah, at the very tail end of the field.
And another disaster for Kalen Frederick. Go ahead, Brian.
Field into my view right now, so your leader is the number 8 of Kirkwood. Gets it handed to him. Field still a lot of side-by-side racing through this entire field. Tom, your new leader, Kirkwood, coming into your view in just a moment, and he has got a nice little cushion.
Oh, he does. And then you go back to 2nd place, who also had just a bare cushion. That's the 22 car of Lucas Cole, and then he is being pressured by 2 other cars, they got to break away from the rest of the field.
Unbelievable again for Kyle Kirkwood. He's won 7 races in a row, qualifies second behind Kalen Frederick, and Kalen into turn 2 for the first time, goes too deep on the brakes. The car pushing right off into the gravel on the outside. He is able to continue, but Kyle Kirkwood can seemingly do no wrong this year in USF 2000 as he wins yesterday, secures the championship, already has it done still with a number of races, 4 races still to go. He's back to the lead again by a full second as he works his way up to turn number 2.
Making his way this time cleanly with nobody in front this time. That last lap, he didn't have the tires warmed up, and the car wiggled on him pretty big in turn 1, which is what allowed that Kalen Frederick machine to get to that lead spot, but that didn't last very long. Still a little bit of wiggle there. I'm not sure whether he's trying to get some heat in the tire. Kyle Kirkwood weaving the car back and forth here at the kink. May not be happy with the front tires on that, but still is able to maintain a nice gap.
Yeah, the rest of the handling does not look great on that car. Looks like Cole has gotten to the second spot. Lind is in third. So it's Kirkwood, Cole, and Lind.
Yeah, leader all by himself. Battle for second place. Cole and Lind. The 91 car riding all by his lonesome, and Igor Fraga.
You got to remember these drivers, of course, coming out after the MX5 Cup guys have been down a totally different tire compound down. The track a lot warmer than it was this morning when they were back on the racetrack. So again, they're all just trying to figure things out. And these cars, of course, the setup designed to come in a little bit late. The tire pressure is obviously a little lower. Car's going to skate around a bit. This is when you ask your driver to get up on the wheel, knowing that the car is going to come in a little later on. I feel bad for Kalen Frederick, a driver who started on the pole position, second place in points, was really wanting to get that first win. He's already fought his way back by a couple of drivers, already passed Julian Vanderwatt and Kyle Dupel. Driver up, that's Oscar De La Zuriaga.
Yeah, the 92 car goes around here at turn 1, pulls right back in front of one of the other drivers at the tail end of the field, and will rejoin last. So a big spin there off of turn 1.
Yeah, also a spin coming out of the into the carousel out of the Thunder Valley. Oscar De La Zuriaga losing it coming through there, and he's backed it into the wall. And Oscar, I can tell you, he will be just beating himself up in the helmet now. He is will just be so disappointed. A young driver for Newman Walks Racing. He's found a lot of speed throughout the weekend. You can see him just pounding his head against the back. He's shown really well. He's a rookie driver in the series. His first year in car racing, he's found speed throughout the year and has actually done extremely well. A top 10 finish on the streets of Toronto, not surprisingly, will go to full course yellow. Again, Oscar De La Zuriaga, the driver off, coming through. And, you know, the funny thing is that corner is so treacherous. We saw Simon Pagenaud go off there, probably do something very similar, get a little light coming over and just loop it around. I feel bad for Oscar. Again, he's still beating himself up. You know his team is on the radio trying to calm him down. But they'll take the steering wheel off. That'll be it for Oscar today. He's got another race tomorrow still to come, but he'll be beating himself up all day long.
Turn 11 is the second fastest turn on the racetrack and very tricky because it's a blind apex as you come up out of Thunder Valley, and it's very easy to drop a wheel off to the outside, and that's usually what happens. You take a little lazy spin and back it into the barrier, as we're going to get a look at it here as he just carried a little too much speed through turn 11. He's already wide at turn 11 into the grass, and then he's just a passenger. Really not much else he can do.
Not the first time that's ever happened. Well, look at this, though. He's going to come right back across.
Oh, man.
Everybody climbing on the binders. Wow. Whoever that was right in front of him. Let me pick up that car, try to figure out who that was coming through. I think that's one of the Bennett cars. I'm going to say that's probably Sabre Cook. Talk about evasive action for Sabre, not the T-bone Oscar when he came back across the racetrack.
I bet her eyes were big in the helmet, that's for sure.
No doubt.
But she got it done. That's a good job. So tough break for De La Zuriaga from Bromley, England. Makes his home in Charleston, South Carolina for Newman Walks Racing. And just a little miscue through that very tricky turn 11, and it caught him out.
Yeah, Oscar again lived in Brazil, rather lived in Singapore. Was actually born in the UK, as you had said. Now living in Charleston, South Carolina. Just a great young man. I had a chance to spend some time with him in Toronto. Just really dedicated to trying to be the best he can be and trying to find more speed. But again, coming in to this series with so much less experience than a lot of the guys that have been karting for many, many years, guys who have run F1600 or whatever it may be. And he's just been getting quicker and quicker throughout the season, so I feel bad for Oscar. But this will reset things as well for a guy named Kalen Frederick. Yeah. Kalen, of course, had worked his way forward. As it had happened, I was saying that he was able to get by both Julian Vanderwatt and I believe another one, Kyle Dupel. able to get by David Osborne on that lap as well before they went full course yellow. So Kalen Frederick finds himself back in the 18th position. Everybody stacked back up again. All that ground he had lost going off in turn number 1, he's going to be able to try to work his way forward now. Here's the damage to Deluzuriaga's car. Right rear suspension damage, the wing itself as well, likely the rear attenuator. But again, just trying to, the right front looks all right. So again, they'll go to work. Newman Waxwell, get that car repaired so that he can get back on the racetrack for the 3rd race of the triple header here this weekend.
That's coming up tomorrow, of course, as this is the only rung on the Mazda Road to Indy where we have 3 races this weekend. And then heading out to Portland for a pair of races to round out the season.
Let's have a look at the top 10 as they come across the line here now. Kyle Kirkwood with the lead, Lucas Cole in 2nd, Rasmus Lind in the 3rd spot. Igor Fraga now runs in 4th. Michael D'Orlando for Bennick in 5th. James Raven 6th. Dakota Dickerson 7th. Corey Enders 8th. Calvin Ming now 9th. And Jacob Abel's been able to work his way now up into the top 10. So full course yellow. Oscar De Luzuriaga off in turn number 11. What do you call that, 11 or 12? I guess it would be.
That'd be 12. The exit of 11
Exit
into 12.
of 11 into 12. And really, we kind of avoided what could have been a massive accident as 4 cars were coming back down through into the carousel as Oscar was coming across their bow from right to left. That could have been pretty interesting had Sabre Cook not got on the brakes and really been, I think, probably been aware that he was off and already started thinking about what she was going to do to make sure there wasn't any contact.
Yeah, I can certainly feel for Oscar because I have spun one of the Mid-Ohio school cars at that very spot. I didn't make it all the way to the tire barrier because I wasn't carrying that much speed, but it is a real easy mistake to make.
I didn't spin, but I was 4 wheels off.
Yeah, there you go.
I came up there one of my first times here in a car and was, whoa, this isn't good. This is not right.
Where's the black part? I'm not on the black part anymore.
Yeah, the turn-in point of that blind corner has to be hit pretty straight up, and I missed it pretty significantly. It went 4 wheels off. But I was in a Formula V, so significantly slower than the approach speed for these USF 2000 cars.
As the field making its way around, and the lights are out on the pace car, Tom Michaels tells us, as they're right in front of him right now. Thanks, Tom, for that heads up, as it looks like we're going to go back to racing here. Just completing lap 6 as we come to the stripe.
What a crazy start with Kalen Frederick coming down with the lead into turn number 2, the keyhole.
Correct.
Saying to himself, I got to make sure I outbrake Kirkwood. I got to be able to get a good run out of here. And he just flat locked it up and drove off. So this has gifted Kirkwood the lead again. Lucas Cole finds himself exactly where he was yesterday, right behind him. Kirkwood's going to bring it down here into the acceleration area. He's on the throttle, and away we go. Kirkwood, now your leader. And we are racing once again in USF 2000, the second event. They'll work their way into the Cooper Tire Bridge. And indeed, Kirkwood, your leader. Cole into second. Lint, Fraga, and D'Orlando as everybody's through turn number 1.
Single file right now, looking challenged there for the 6th spot right now, but they drop back. Well, no, they're going to go too wide now up in the middle of the keyhole turn. Kirkwood still with a lead, a couple of car length gap down the straightaway. A couple cars again kicking up some big dust. Makes the cars behind sort of swing wide as they're working their way down the straightaway. Nice lead already for Kyle Kirkwood. Kirkwood doing a great job, gets that cushion already back up. Almost a half a second already as he goes down the back straightaway. The battles for second, the 22, 23, and 91. Cole, Lind, and Fraga, all 3 of those guys, nose to tail underneath the Honda Bridge, headed for you, Tom Michael.
Yeah, once again staking himself to a considerable advantage is Kyle Kirkwood. And then the battle you just mentioned, Cole, Lind, Fraga. And as we look, everybody's still got...
No, driver off.
Got another full course yellow coming
Tom,
up.
driver off the racetrack. The 31 of Sabre Cook has made contact with the wall, I believe, coming into the braking zone.
There's another car in front. There's 2 cars involved.
2 cars involved. Where do you think that is? That down into turn number 4, or?
Yeah, yes. It's down into turn number 4. Safety vehicle already on the scene right now as I was looking up track at the action, and I can see the tire marks. They came together just past the start stand here, and they came together and carried into driver's right on the wall there. And we see both drivers, the safety vehicle on course very quickly right now as they are talking to the drivers right now. So I see one of the drivers already climbing out.
That's
and
Sabre
both
Cook,
drivers,
climbing out.
yeah, both drivers climbing out of the car.
Great.
Do you guys have a number on the other car, the white and blue car, the 31 of Sabre Cook? Do you have an ID on the other car?
Brian, can you see that other car?
Actually, John, no, unfortunately, I cannot. Both of they're behind the wall from me, so I can't get a number.
Guys, that's Kaylin Frederick
Yeah, I was going to say, that's who it is.
And they are, and I'll tell you, Sabre Cook is livid.
She is not a happy camper.
She is not happy at all. Kaylin Frederick involved again. His fourth incident of the weekend. He gets taken out by Rasmus Lint in the first corner of race 1. He gets into it with Russell McDonough coming out of the keyhole in race number 2. He drives off by himself here in race number 2, at the start, and then gets together with Sabre Cook trying to come back through the field. Sabre, you could see her gesturing to Kaylin that she was not pleased at all with the incident there. Again, Sabre's on a low-budget deal. She's just trying to get from race to race, and here she is running deeper in the pack, trying to find some speed. Kaylin's got to know how much faster he is than her. There's no need. I would love to see a replay on that if we could. I'm doubting that we'll get one. But I would expect that he just tried to go down deep or try to make a move, and they lock wheels. So I don't know if any of you guys saw that out on the racetrack, but, man, tough one for Sabre Cook, a young lady with a very limited budget, just trying to get some seat time here as she looks to try to put a program together for 2019.
Yeah, she finished 16th position yesterday, a good steady run, and qualified a little deeper in the pack today as she started back in 22nd position and was working her way forward as, again, the same situation. Kaylin Frederick just not having a good weekend here. Still looking for his first win on the season, and he's not going to score many points here coming out of Mid-Ohio, even if he has a great day tomorrow.
You know, I understand the frustration of the issues that happened at the start of both of these races for Kaylin Frederick, but you've got to be smart when you're working your way back forward.
Yep.
He's got pole speed. He qualified on the pole, and when you're running back with guys in 15, 16, 17, they're still trying to find their pace. They're trying to find their feet in this series.
Yep.
Kaylin's a second-year driver, and you got to know how to handle that. You can't. It's 2 incidents he's been involved trying to come back to the field. Yesterday he was down a lap when he got involved in an incident. Here, of course, not down a lap, but trying to work his way back forward. You've got to pick and choose your right spots at this point. And Kaylin obviously got lucky with the yellow flag for De La Zuriaga. That stacked things back up again. But to get himself involved in another incident, both of those drivers out, and I just feel bad for Sabre Cook. I know how tight that budget is, and the crash damage there may take her out for the rest of the season.
Rusty, you've got a view on the recovery work. Do they have both cars up on the hook?
One car on the hook and already driving around. That's the Sabre Cook machine is driving around turn 4 now. The other car just now up on the hook, so should be fairly quickly. I was looking the other way when that happened, but you can see the tire marks here in front of me, and that typically the driver was trying to pass on the inside of the kink and dropped a wheel inside and then hooked wheels going just past my start stand here. And you can see the impact with the wall as both those cars carried off to driver's right and hit the wall. Good thing we saw both drivers walk over and get into the safety vehicle as now the second Kaylin Frederick machine up on the hook. So we should be clear here. They've got the debris cleaned up and are hopping back to get the safety vehicles back into the position.
The safety crew has dropped Sabre Cook off at her pit down here right below us in the announcer's tower, and she, I don't want to say slammed the door, but closed it with purpose, and and is not happy at all.
You don't have to be a student of body language to see she's not a happy camper.
Yeah, the helmet's staying on right now. She's going to walk her way back to the paddock here. She is just not pleased at all with the contact there, and it just, again, like I said, did not need to happen so early in the race. Kaylin Frederick trying to work his way back forward. Yeah, that's just something we don't like to see at all. Let's reset again, as we've had 2 incidents again here to start this USF 2000 event. It's been a struggle to get laps in. Kyle Kirkwood still with that lead. Lucas Cole second. Rasmus Lint still third. Igor Fraga and Michael D'Orlando the top 5 as it was. Dakota Dickerson now 6th. 7th is Corey Enders. 8th Calvin Ming. 9th Jacob Abel. And to round out the top 10 it's Darren Keene. Yuvan Sundaramurthy in the number 90. Now running in the 11th spot, Colin Kaminsky, 12th, James Raven, 13th. In 14th was Russell McDonough. He's now pulled the number 29 into pit lane.
Actually, that was Donegan who came in.
That was Donegan.
That was 28, yeah.
Tough to see the 28 and 29 with the graphics they use. So Donegan back into pit lane. He's been struggling, I think, with the car. Looks like they had to put a fresh tire on the left front. Are they going to go fresh rubber all the way around? Indeed they are. So here's what they're doing. Here's one thing we didn't touch on early is the fact that the grid for race number 3 is set by your fastest laps of race number 2.
Exactly.
They're putting fresh rubber on Donegan. They'll let him go out to the tail of the field. He's going to see if he can't knock down some fast laps to try to improve his qualifying effort to move his way forward. He qualified 19th for this particular race. He's going to go out there and try to bang it out with fresh rubber to see if he can't move up the grid. So again, waiting for the pace car to bring these guys back around. Hopefully that things have been cleaned up down there. We'll get an update from the guys on the racetrack as we want to go back to green flag racing here with USF 2000.
Lights out on the pace car as they're just now coming up the hill into Tom Michael's view. We'll get a restart here in front of us.
Yeah, they're behind that beautiful Honda Accord pace car. I happen to have one of those new versions of that. It is a great car, I can tell you. And right behind them, it is Kyle Kirkwood going to bring him around once again. Cole, Lynn, Fraga, Orlando. That'll be the top 5, but for how long?
Well, if yesterday's any indication on this restart, Kyle Kirkwood's going to back him up and get on the throttle a little later than he did last time. Let's see if that's his plan.
Lucas Cole's got a lot of chances to try to go by Kirkwood to get his first race win, but has not been able to pull the trigger yet. He'll tuck up under the rear wing of Kyle Kirkwood, and they're ready to punch off, and away we go. Back at it. Green, green, green. Restart here. 9 laps in the books, 11 to go here at USF 2000. Darren Keene having a quick look to the inside of Jacob Abel. He's side by side coming through turn number 1. That's further back. That's probably 7th, 8th, or 9th. One driver goes 4 wheels off.
Yeah, pushed it into the grass there over turn 1, but gets it back into line. Kirkwood with a good jump again, a couple of car lengths at turn 1, and holds on to that as they come onto the straightaway. So we're watching down the straightaway. See if there's any issues here coming down the straightaway. The battle right now for second, 3 cars, nose to tail, sweeps out, Brian. They're going to go 3 wide for a second.
Yeah, they're still 2 wide, making their way into 4. Both those cars black. I can't tell you who came out in second spot. I'll get you some numbers here. The 22 able to hold on to that, so Cole gets it done. But Fraga trying to make a move. Fraga makes the pass in turn 6. What a great move right down into turn 6. Fraga moves up to 3rd.
Yeah, that is the battle for 3rd place right now. Fraga up there, back. One position is Rasmus Lynn. Meanwhile, your leader, again, stretches it out there.
2 points right now coming up here. What a great run for Igor Fraga. Was able to get to the inside of Rasmus Lins. They came over the hill at turn number 5. Got it down the hill. Rasmus didn't want to give it up, but Fraga able to hang it on the outside. So count Igor Fraga in the exclusive Autosport 91. He moves his way up into 3rd. Dakota Dickerson has worked his way into the 5th position, I believe, getting by Michael D'Orlando. But on that opening run there down to turn number 2, the big aggression further back was for Jose Sierra. He got all up and over the curbing. I don't know who he got into, but hammered someone coming to the entry of turn number 2. Very lucky that both those drivers were able to continue. But I'll tell you, some pretty, I'm going to say even over-aggressive racing for Jose Sierra right now, as we had a bunch of action here on the opening lap after the restart.
Watch the red number 9 of Dakota Dickerson. He's one of the fastest cars on the track. Remember, he had to start at the back of the field in race number 1 because of a transponder issue. Ended up finishing in the top 10. He is making his move toward the front.
Kirkwood able to get away here. Again, he gets that cushion built up immediately. Takes the 22 of Cole with him. Top 2, no contention, but a great battle between Lind and Fraga. Tom Michaels, they're coming at you, and we're going to keep our eyes on Dickerson.
Yep, the battle continues there for 3rd, 4th, and you can also throw in that number 9 car of Dakota Dickerson in this battle as well. And Dickerson's car, for whatever reason, still has the flashing light on the back of it.
Igor Fraga trying to see if he can't shake the driver right behind him, the competitor that he just got by, Rasmus Lynn. If he can drop him, it'll allow him to focus forward. He's got probably 2 or 3 car lengths on Rasmus Lynn as they come up the front straightaway. It's still Kirkwood leading, a 1.1 second advantage. Again, the driver coming forward, although aggressively, Jose Sierra in the number 12 machine. He's starting to put some pressure now on Yuvan Sundaramurthy, the 51 of Michael D'Orlando, into pit lane here to get with his Bennett crew. He'll get back out onto the racetrack. But again, the driver trying to push hard is Jose Sierra. As I said, about a lap and a half ago, very aggressively over the inside curbing of turn number 2, made contact with the driver on the outside of him. He seems to have the elbows up now as he tries to work his way past the rookie driver Sundaramurthy, who's having an awesome run here in the 11th position. Yuvan finishing actually the 3rd place driver in the F1600 Championship Series. Now won a race here actually at Mid-Ohio in that series just about a couple of weeks ago.
No changes in the top 5. Everybody seems to be settling in a little bit, which is good to see because we haven't seen any long runs yet in front of you, Tom Michaels.
Yeah, no challenges anywhere back through 7th, 8th, 9th. They're going to continue with Kirkwood, Cole, Fraga, Lind, and Dickerson, your top 5.
Yeah.
We were bragging on Dakota Dickerson, but Corey Enders is closing up right on his rear wing.
There's a couple of battles here, right? We thought that maybe Fraga was going to be able to pull away from Rasmus Lind. That's not happening. And Corey Enders, as you said, starting to put some pressure here on Dakota Dickerson. So we've got lots more battles coming. Behind Corey Enders, it's the 21 of Calvin Ming. Then you've got Darren Keene having a pretty good run here at 8th spot, Colin Kaminsky in 9th, and James Raven now into the 10th position. But as you guys had said, I like what we're seeing now. Let's settle in here a little bit. Let's get in line. Let's run some laps so that we can kind of get some in.
Seven laps to go. We're working lap 14.
Yeah, the first race of the weekend yesterday was not a good one. We had just too many yellow flag laps. Not what we like to see here in the USF 2000 program. We want these kids to go racing, and they're doing that right now. Kirkwood, Cole, Fraga, Lind, and Dickerson, your top 5 as they work their way down now through turn number 3.
Looks like Enders is going for it.
Anders is trying to get that dive done, and I think he does. He's able to get nope, still fighting at it. They're side by side into 5. And finally, Dickerson able to maintain that spot over the number 11 of Enders. They were side by side from 4 all the way into 5.
Interestingly, coming through there, too, with that battle, welcome Calvin Ming back onto the scene as well. He's sitting there in the 6th position, or 7th, and with Dickerson and Enders starting to go at it, there's Calvin Ming and the black Pabst Racing entry closing up. Maybe we'll even see Darren Keene get there as well. They'll work their way out of Thunder Valley, John, and come back down through the carousel.
Ming finished on the box yesterday, and he's looking hungry here. But look at this. Kyle Kirkwood throwing caution to the wind. As we talked about him yesterday, all he needs to do is build up about a 1-second gap. Today he's going to say, I'm just going to keep my foot to the metal. He's got a 3-second lead. That's unheard of.
Well, Lucas Cole's pushing him like crazy, right? He's just trying to be there. You look at their lap times. I want to say similar. No way. Kirkwood quicker last time by a full second, 9/10 of a second faster than Lucas Cole last time. That Cape Motorsports machine is rolling. 8 straight victories, trying to go for 9 in a row.
Down the straightaway, we're watching that battle there back for the 5th spot right now as it tightens up just a little bit. In fact, here they go, the 11 machine trying to make them move. Enders around Dickerson. They're side by side, Brian. He may make it stick.
He's got the position right now, but the car, the front end pushes out just a little bit. The 23 and the 9 and 11 are going at each other. Doesn't get that pass done. Coming at you, Tom Michaels. Another great battle back there with Lind and Fraga.
Yeah, coming by us now. Igor Fraga, Rasmus Lind, they continue there. In 5th place, Dakota Dickerson.
Corey Enders absolutely throwing everything at Dakota Dickerson right now. He's making sure he fills the mirrors as well. He'll go from the left to the right. He always trying to show that nose, show that bright blue of the D-Force entry in those rear view mirrors of Dakota Dickerson. And as I said, here comes Darren Keene as well. Colin Kaminsky, the number 7 as well of James Raven. Even Yuvan Sundaramurthy's coming up here. We're going to stack him up from 5th all the way back to 11th here. And the number 12 into pit lane. Trouble for the 12, Jose Sierra. Wow, he's just had so much bad luck.
Yeah, Darren Keene deposited his rear wing here on the front straightaway yesterday.
Indeed.
He went into turn 1 with no rear wing and immediately spun into the gravel. He is having a terrible weekend.
That'll drop him down the order to likely around 19th position at this point, as 5 drivers already done. Cook, Frederick, and De La Zuriaga are done. I believe Donegan and D'Orlando back onto the racetrack, but right to the very tail of the field. Back in front of Brian.
Yeah, field making their way through. No changes right now. But watch the back end of the number 9 of Dickerson. Its last 2 laps over turn number 5, it stepped out. Tom Michaels, is Dickerson having problems in front of you?
Well, we watch. Nope. Very clean this time as he comes through. Again, he still has that flashing light back there. I don't think that has anything to do with the problem that you're talking about, but he continues there. Right now, a pace in 5th position.
Yeah, Dickerson's probably in driving. He's probably flicked on the rain light. Yep. That's probably what's going on there since it's flashing. But I'll tell you, This is not a racetrack where you want to have a car that's got a lot of understeer, or rather oversteer, because there's the off-camber corner and the keyhole. You try to come over the rise in turn number 9 with a car that wants to swap ends. I'll tell you, you can be guaranteed that Dakota's done everything he can within the car in terms of adjusting the sway bars to try to get it to get as much rear grip as possible. But as is now, we know he is holding back a gaggle of cars right behind Dickerson in the number 9, Corey Enders in the 11, Calvin Ming in the 21, Darren Keene in the 36, Colin Kaminsky in the 27, James Raven in the 7, and Yuvan Sundaramurthy in that number 90 machine. I'll tell you, out there, Rusty, it is getting aggressive for P5.
Yeah, the 11 car Enders trying it again. He's there, Brian, but he can't. I don't think he can make it stick.
He's trying. He is right there. They're side by side in the top of 5, 9, and 11. Dickerson gonna hold him off. Yes, he holds Enders off down into turn number 6. Tell you what, Dickerson's car is wounded there, and he is holding up that train.
I'll tell you what, the battle for third place. Lynn was looking to the inside, coming into turn number 9, did not make a move there, but I think he has an idea, and he wants to give Fraga something to think about.
4 laps to go as they come across the line. Kyle Kirk will put lap number 16, I believe, in the books. Yeah, indeed, 16 in the books. 4 laps to go. And yes, Rasmus Lint about 3 lengths behind Igor Fraga. But again, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all stacking up here now. Good run there for Julian Vanderwatt. He's been able to get by Yuvan Sundaramurthy, I think. No, more trouble. That's the number 7 of James Raven. Raven in the 7 falling down the order. The D-Force drivers are just struggling here today. Colin Kaminsky, the only one left on the racetrack.
Corey Enders also.
Oh, that's right, Corey Enders. Pardon me. I forgot about the fact they have 3 blue and whites.
Yep.
And then, of course, Kaminsky in the red, white, and black. He's got his own Slick Lock sponsorship on the car. That's the colors here, but runs with D-Force Racing. So Enders and Kaminsky still in the top 10. And James Raven and Jose Sierra down the order.
Go ahead, Brian.
To the inside this time. Is he going to? Nope, not able to get it done. Again, they're still going at each other. Dickerson holds Enders off. Enders tries the inside of 6. Not able to get it done. He's going to lose the spot. Tom Michaels. Enders trying to get that job done. Loses the spot now, so we've got a new 5th place runner.
Yep, as we watch, 21 car having moved up there, Calvin Ming. So Kirkwood still with that huge lead. Cole making absolutely no challenge here for the lead.
You know, John, Calvin Ming was right there waiting. He saw Corey Enders throwing everything he could at Dakota Dickerson, inside, outside of turn number 4. When you start to get aggressive coming down into turn number 6, back down that hill, if you leave the door open, somebody's going to be there to throw it in. And indeed, that was Calvin Ming. He was able to get by Corey Enders. Now Enders having to watch out because he's got Darren Keene behind him trying to get through. So that's a tough thing. When you're in that aggressive spot where you're trying to get a position and you've got somebody behind you, you almost have to have eyes in the back of your helmet, right? You're looking forward, but you got to always think about what's happening behind you. You got to put yourself in a position not to lose a spot while still being able to gain one back. Back to Rusty.
Watching him down the straight this time, we'll see. And yeah, tucked right underneath the rear wing. There he goes. Trying the pass here at the top end of the straightaway. Calvin Ming trying to get the job done now.
Ming looks to the inside. He might see if he's able to get that done. No, he cannot get that done. That 9 car, Dickerson, able to hold it off. He stays way to the inside. Ming tries to make the move. The front end of that car washed out big time on Dickerson. Coming in front of you, Tom. Great battle.
Yeah, taking a real inside line that time was the number 9 car of Dickerson. Everybody up now, here comes a pride for the pass. Coming up into turn number 11. I don't think it got done.
He had to follow back in single file, but he was thinking about going side by side through turn 11. I can tell you that never works.
They're stacking it back up through the carousel, and all you got to do is rewind back to yesterday when Calvin Ming made the outside move on Keith Donegan in turn number 4. So he's done it already one time this weekend. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to get that full run down into turn number 4. You can see, though, another driver off. 4 wheels off further back. That's a likely Sundaramurthy or Colin Kaminsky go 4 wheels off. Rusty, did you get a number there?
Yeah, I think it may have been Kaminsky. We'll get an eye on that as they come down the straightaway. But that battle really stacking up behind Dakota Dickerson. That 9 car able to hold off everybody so far. Down the straightaway, here comes the 21 car one more time. Dakota Dickerson driving hard on the defensive line.
Dickerson stays way to the inside. We'll see if Ming gets it done. Ming line, finally goes around the high side, gets it done. The 21 car moves up one. Dickerson now's got Enders. Enders trying to make a move down into turn number 6. Coming at you, Tom Michaels. There's your new 5th place runner.
Yeah, and again, using different lines, holding them off now, but it's holding them off for 6th place is Dickerson. Ming, he is just driving real smooth up there now into 5th place.
White flag flying this time by. Darren Keene going to try the outside. Oh, Keene's off. Keene gets together with Corey Enders in turn number 11 or 12 rather, coming through the carousel. Another DNF for Darren Keene. White flag flying this time by. This will be the end of this race. White flag came for Kyle Kirkwood. We'll see what happens when we go full course yellow, but Kirkwood your leader. Cole across the line. Igor Fraga in 3rd. Rasmus Lint in 4th. Calvin Ming 5th. Darren Keene got a really good run coming out of Thunder Valley. Went to the outside, just like Fraga did yesterday. The outside of Corey Enders as they worked their way up into that corner. There's Darren Keene there off the racetrack again. This kid just cannot buy a break in this number 36 machine. A tremendous run. He was running right there, I believe, in the 7th position or 8th spot, trying to go to the outside of the number 11 of Corey Enders. They made contact. Keene's actually going to come to pit lane right now. Haven't seen a full course yellow, and we won't because he's been able to come through. So, again, Kyle Kirkwood's going to work his way out of Thunder Valley. Kirkwood, what a run it's been. His 2nd straight race win here at Mid-Ohio. It'll be, 8 in a row now?
Yes, sir.
8 wins in a row for Kyle Kirkwood. He will cruise it across and get the double checkers here at start-finish. Your newly crowned USF 2000 champion, winning once again. Lucas Cole in the 2nd spot. 3rd, Igor Fraga, pump for that one. 4th is Rasmus Lint coming home in the 5th spot. Another great run for Calvin Ming. 6th, Dakota Dickerson. 7th, Colin Kaminsky. 8th, Julian Vanderwatt. 9th, the number 92 Daniel Frost. And Yuvan Sundaramurthy ends up in the top 10. All 3 exclusive Autosport drivers in the top 10. Those young rookies, very impressive. But I'm telling you, my heart aches right now. I'm gutted for Darren Keene. He needs a comeback race like this one, and he was having a good run there. Was likely going to try to battle it out with Corey Enders, and you've seen it happen in the carousel before. That outside move is not easy.
Yeah, it's hard to do, and all it takes is the guy inside of you to get a little sideways, and they make contact, and that's exactly what happened, taking Darren Keene out of the race. He was able to get it refired, but he took the checkers in the pit lane. So he'll end up finishing down the order in 17th position. First car a lap down.
Let's give you the full top 10 once again because that was a great race. Kyle Kirkwood does it again. 5.7 seconds, the advantage over Lucas Cole. Igor Fraga in 3rd. So 3 different teams there in the top 3. Cape Motorsports for Kirkwood, Pabst Racing for Lucas Cole, and Exclusive Autosport for Igor Fraga. Rasmus Lint and Calvin Ling make it 3 Pabst drivers in the top 6. Dakota Dickerson for Arms Up Motorsports in 6th spot. For D-Force Racing, Colin Kaminsky in 7th. Julian Vanderwatt for Team Pelfrey in 8th. And then the Exclusive Autosports rookies, Daniel Frost and Yuvan Sundaramurthy in the number 92 and 90, respectively, 9th and 10th. Pretty solid run. Jacob Abel coming home in the 11th position. Russell McDonough in 12th. Bruno Tomaselli 13th. Corey Enders able to continue for 14th, and Kyle Dupel rounding out the top 15.
8 in a row, 9 total in 2018. You've already got the championship. You going to give these guys a break anytime soon, Kyle?
No, I'm not planning on it. That one was a little bit of a gimme because Caitlin went sailing off there, and it would have been tough to get around him, especially around this track. So we got lucky with that one. But no, the Cape Motorsports car was amazing. Got to thank my sponsor, First X, Team Cooper Tires, Mazda, and everyone that's helped me get this far, really.
You and I talked about this yesterday during the pre-race over the public address system, but I want to get it on tape. When you look at the Mazda Road to Indy and what it's done for your career already, besides give you a bunch of trophies, what are some of the things you look back and realize you've learned this year racing with the Mazda Road to Indy?
Well, I've learned so much with the team and with Mazda Road to Indy, Cape Motorsports, Anderson Promotions. They've done an amazing job kind of teaching me and helping to give me a foundation to really excel my driving. And if it wasn't for them, it would be, I don't know where I would be right now. And right now we're just going up in the world, and I can't be thankful enough for them.
All right, Kyle Kirkwood, and then any plans to maybe move up and run Pro Mazda for the season finale in Portland? Can you talk to us about what Oregon looks like?
You know, a lot of people have asked me that, but we're still looking at the team championship. I think we're still in the lead, so that's kind of our goal right now, is to help the Capes get a good starting position for St. Petersburg for next year. And I don't have any ambitions to get into a Pro Mazda now. I would want to, but I don't think it's going to be a thing.
9 wins so far in 2018. Kyle Kirkwood not slowing down anytime soon. One more to go in Mid-Ohio. Congratulations and good luck in the last one.
Thank you so much, Tony.